Tianandam! So today I'm filming a video that I feel is going to be very fun to make and very fun to watch. And they're basically the 9 signs that you are awakening. And I'm not saying there are only 9 signs, but these are the 9 things that popped up in my space as I connected to making this video. So the first sign is that you start becoming very sensitive to smells. And by that I mean that you cannot handle the artificial smells, scents, those products that are full of chemicals. You cannot be around that and you just have to move away. So for example, those perfumes that some people wear that you might have worn, I used to wear some also, you cannot stand there. It just creates like an internal nausea, and that's because on the big picture your being is moving away slowly by slowly from anything that is artificial, because you are becoming more and more in tune with yourself, with nature, with existence. You cannot stand anything artificial or any chemicals around you. And yeah, smell is something that I'm noticing a lot in myself lately. Second, you become intensely aware of what you put in your body, and you also start noticing, paying a lot of attention towards what other people start putting in their bodies. So obviously, you cannot put a dead corpse into your body anymore. You cannot eat animal products when you start realizing, how much pain and suffering those beings go through, and actually what it does to your consciousness to consume such products. You cannot put that in your body. You slowly move away from anything that brings destruction, death in the body. So this is just an example, like the diet, but you will start noticing that you'll go more and more towards foods, products that add energy, like life energy into you. So anything, fresh, that you just like pick up from a tree, anything that has life in it, you'll be like, start becoming so attracted to it. And anything that's dead matter, you'll start feeling like your body doesn't want it. And you become so aware that you can't even just ignore that feeling and do it anyways. I used to do that, I used to have like this feeling like, oh, I shouldn't be eating that, but I would kind of camouflage that and still eat whatever was in front of me. And recently something happened where I used to like eating like a bowl. It had vinegar, like white vinegar in it basically, on the like marinated carrots and other vegetables. And the last time I ate it, because my being is becoming so much more aware every single second, I started feeling like it was going down in my stomach, and that there was so much like acidity, like it was actually burning the inside of the body, the stomach. So, and I couldn't ignore it. That's also like part of it. You cannot ignore those feelings anymore, because many of you have those feelings but you just decide to discard them. But this time, like, you can't ignore them anymore. Okay, third, you start emptying the space that's around you. So you start just giving a lot of things away. You do not want your space to be crowded anymore, because you realize that when you look at certain objects, when you look at them, part of your energy goes into them and it stays there stagnant. So there's so much energy that that's just gone. It's just not available for you. And when you start awakening, you have this like overflowing inspiration that comes in your space, and you just want to become more and more creative, and you start realizing that all this matter around you is and you don't necessarily in the beginning notice that it comes from that, like from all the possessions that you have. But slowly when you start giving things away, you start becoming like so light and feel like so much more energy is accessible for what you actually want to start doing, which is becoming more creative, because creation is life. Then number 4, you cannot be controlled by lower frequency emotions anymore, like lust. And this was a big shift for me, because we're so trained as a society to be controlled by that. Everything that you listen to, like, and I did an experiment not too long ago, just listening to the radio and switching the radio stations, to see what would actually get created in my being. And I really felt every single song that I was listening to was either just like bringing so much depression and death in the being, or activating the Muladhara chakra, which is the chakra where all that, sexual energy is. So society thrives on that. It wants people to stay at that level, because when you stay at that level, just based on like urges and instinct, you're not going towards awakening. You stay like at the lowest level. So when these sensations, hormonal releases like start happening in your body, you, instead of just acting upon them, you start questioning, where is this coming from? This is not me. Why would I allow something that is so momentary, that almost seems like random, to control my life? I'm not a slave to these happenings of the body. And so you start questioning like the source, where is everything coming from? And you start choosing more and more not to be controlled by those things. Okay, then number 5, you stop pointing fingers at others, because you start becoming more and more aware of the fact that you are the source of everything that you create. You are responsible for the reality that you create. Therefore, you start seeing the other as just a reflection of your own space. Everybody out there is a mirror, a guide to see where you stand. And the more you stay stuck in an interaction that brings like unpleasant feelings into you, it means that you're still resonating at that level. You're still entertaining that frequency, that energy in you. And so, yeah, you stop like playing the victim, and the blaming game. That starts occurring less and less in your space. And whenever you see something that feels undesirable, you'll look at it and you'll be like, okay, what is this showing me about myself? Right? So you'll kind of reverse the situation and look at yourself, face yourself, instead of choosing not to be responsible and just saying, oh, this person is that, this person is that. Yeah, that's completely useless. Then number 6, which is along the same lines, you stop paying attention to the words that come out of people's mouths, and you stop paying attention to their physical appearance. Because what you'll start paying attention to is the inner context that they carry. Their energy, their inner context, what is the source of what is coming out of their mouth, right? And you'll start also paying attention to those cognitions. Because the words will point you in that direction. Like you actually, you need like a awakened third eye to be able to really do this, to be able to spot like the context instantly. And when you start being able to do that, then you'll notice right away, like if there's a tumor in front of you, see, it's never about the other being, because there's no such thing as the other person. The person is just an extension, a reflection, because we're all in oneness. But if you see that certain words or cognitions are expressed out of a tumor, like incompletion, then you'll start becoming extremely firm, and you'll stop entertaining like whatever is being shown in front of you, and you'll stop making excuses like, no, everybody's a good person, blah 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 blah. This has nothing to do with it. It's not even about the being, because ultimately the being is pure consciousness. Like two beings might be saying something completely different, but these are just the manifestations of whatever context cognitions they carry. But it doesn't define what they are, because they are both pure consciousness. But you'll start seeing that you will become very firm and ferocious when you see that tumor manifesting. You'll just slay it, Kali style, like I like to say. So Kali's energy is just going to start awakening in you more and more. Then 7, which is also related to what I've been just saying in the previous points, the thoughts of duality start leaving your system. So you slowly stop seeing things as separate, right? Like day or night, black and white, peace or violence. No, because you start realizing that everything is just a spectrum, a range, but it's a flow. It's a continuous flow, and at any moment you can decide to go either way. So everything is oneness, everything is whole. And yeah, so anything that creates separation, like you'll start just not paying attention to those thought currents. And yeah, so the thoughts of duality will leave your system. Number 8, you start turning away from anything that only gives you temporary pleasure. You become less and less interested by what is perishable. Because when you reach that point, it really means that the being has really started seeing the illusion. All those things that are being offered to you by society, like the being has started seeing the illusion, how that will never give you anything eternal, right? It'll give you like a temporary instant gratification, but it will never stay with you. So as you are awakening, you start becoming less and less interested by what is not going to last, and you start directing your attention towards what is eternal, right? And that's consciousness. So your lifestyle, your thought currents, everything, your actions start being directed towards consciousness, what is eternal, imperishable. And last point that came up today, number 9, is that there is a space that will start opening up in you, inner space, from which such profound gratitude towards existence will start emerging. It'll just start pouring out of your being. And obviously in my case, I have the avatar in my life. And whenever anything happens, you can connect to that space and start seeing everything from another space, from above. And when you start realizing that you are not bound by anything that you are feeling or experiencing, any external situation, when you start realizing that you are not that you are not bound by all these things, there's a space of such tremendous bliss and gratitude and lightness that starts arising in your being. And actually number 10, which just came, the lighting is not very good, I'm sorry, the sun is just switching position. So number 10 just came up into my space. You start becoming so light. So much lightness. Your being starts becoming so light, and your sense of humor just reaches like a whole new level, because ultimately when you have this ability to look at everything from above and taking that distance between what you perceive as your body and what is happening to you, when you are able to look at it from above, everything, I know this might be hard to believe, but everything starts becoming funny. And I've been saying that in a few videos, but there's so much humor in this life. There's so much humor, like in your behavior, in what you choose to entertain, in the patterns that you just keep like falling into again and again and again. There's a lot of humor. And yeah, it's just the being starts becoming so playful, and it loses this idea that everything is so serious, right? So that is an amazing space to be in. And it was such an amazing discovery for me, as I was always so caught up, like in that drama. Even as a baby, I don't have the picture, I didn't keep those pictures, but even as a baby, I would have like such a serious face, you wouldn't even believe that you were looking at a baby. So yeah, I came in this life with so much like seriousness, and now I'm realizing that, like I said in previous videos, right, that ultimately it's all a big cosmic joke. It's a game. You need to understand the game that you're in And you need to start being just a pawn in that game, because ultimately you are the chess master. You are the master of the game. You just forgot that you are. And when you fall in that victim space, like, you associate yourself with that little pawn, you know, that has no control over what's happening to it, you know, and that can be destroyed anytime. You're not. You're the grand master that has orchestrated the whole thing even before you came in this life. Everything. You already knew everything. Wherever you were going to land, which family you were going to land in. Yeah, everything. So it's all a big Leela. If you have any more points to add, like, please write them below. I think this is so exciting, and I can't wait to see, yeah, what comes up in you. And write comments and share with me, share what you think. And hopefully, I had like a blast filming this video, so perhaps I'll do more like these. And hopefully you also enjoyed it. Thank you. It's Canada.